Actually, there's very little. In some states, they've gone through, and in Virginia is one of them, where the gentlemen being civilly held have a right to come back once a year before a judge, but they're coming back before the same judge and oftentimes put them there. They're mostly scared into signing or tricked into signing a form that agrees that they're they're sexually violent predators, excuse me, and told that they won't civilly commit them, but then they turn around and do. We are documenting abuses of the system where the guys are doing extremely well. In Dr. Thompson's case, her son was managing a shop, was doing very well, but the person he was renting, again, they make them as unstable as possible. So, and not letting him come back to DC was partly making her son unstable. He is a sex offender, finding housing. We're creating an underclass in this country. We're creating a class of untouchables. They can't find a place to live. The restrictions for where they can live are so draconian. I'm a real estate agent by trade. So I help guys try to find housing. It's almost impossible. That's one thing the district is a little better on than Virginia, but he couldn't come back to Virginia.
And I still don't understand why they would not allow Mwando, the sheriff's son, to come back to DC where his family is, his friends, his total support network, why he had to be in the hinterlands of Virginia where there was not that type of support. Just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
But if they let him back,
the judge was very favorable to him coming back, and she ruled that he could come back. And as soon as she ruled that he could come back, that's when the Attorney General hit her with what do you call it? An order to say that she had no authority to let him come back.
And she's the judge.
And she's the judge. So I'm driving down there to pick him up, and then I find out that, oh well, the Attorney General signed a motion, order for him to stay. And you have to now go to the Virginia Supreme Court. Well, we went to the Virginia Supreme Court, and the Virginia Supreme Court ruled that he did have to stay, that the law says that you can't go out.
This is really inhumane. And I guess the question I want to ask, I know in a lot of other aspects of the criminal justice system, when you look at comparisons of what's happening in other countries, are there any international comparisons? Do they do it differently, do you know, in other parts of the world, or is it basically like it is here in the United States? Would anyone have to know?
Well, I do know a little bit about Europe, for instance, barely doesn't do this at all. They do have people that are charged with sex offenses in England, but the outcomes are extremely different. And in most of Europe and the EU, they don't. The African system is out of control in the various different African countries, but for political and other reasons. But this is looking more and more like they are trying to replicate what they're losing in human bodies in the drug reforms that are happening. They are recreating and gaining with sex offenses.
So you're talking about the prison industry and you know, making money off of locking people up, etc. What I call some other type of industrial complex. I don't know what we might be calling the sex offender industrial.
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's exactly what it was.
And the recidivism rate for sex offenders is lowest than any other crime. So they're other than murder, because murder is the very lowest. Sex offenders like 5–6%, and then everybody else, all the other offenses, you know, people go back over and over and do it again. You know, if you rob a robber, the bank robber, the robber